Hello, everybody. Welcome to another University of Dutch. My name is Dutch Mantel. I'm joined by my co-host, the always reliable Mr. Dr. Paz. I start to say Mr. Dr. John.
Yep.
He's with us today. John, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain. Finally getting back in the groove here, getting you going again, which is good. You're feeling better, thank God.
I am feeling better. I don't look any better. How's that mustache looking today, John?
Awesome. Looks
Anyway,
like Uncle Zebekiah level of mustache.
yes, it does, doesn't it? So, but hey, we got a lot to talk about today since when you miss a week or two and it kind of stacks up on you. And I'm gonna go back a couple of weeks, and but I think the first thing we need to talk about is the passing of Butch Reed, great guy. I think I was, when somebody passes, you read, their history, and there was a lot of things I didn't even know about Butch, even when I knew him, when he was still with us. But I knew he was a football player. I didn't really know where he played. I think he played at Central Missouri University or Central Missouri State. And he was a fairly decent football player because he tried out for the Kansas City Chiefs. He didn't make the team, but you got to be pretty good just to get on the field and just try out with those guys. And I met him first, and I think he was somewhere in Kansas where he grew up. And I met him actually in Mid-South territory, probably in the mid '80s, and he was just big and strong. And I didn't have a ton of matches with him, but I probably had 30, 40 matches over a period of, I don't know, 6 to 8 months. And what amazed me about Butch, he was so big and strong, but he never hurt you. Never hurt you. He was, and that's the mark of a good technician, is that they're smooth, and it looks good, but they never hurt you. He was strong. I still got, I think I put up a match or two with me and Butch on my Instagram. I think I put one up, and I think this one was from Houston, Texas, and. What I liked about it was Paul Bosch was the commentator. What a great! You ever heard him commentate much?
Yep. Oh
I
yeah.
mean, that's what I liked about the old commentators. They gave it a touch of old school and legitimacy, like Lance Russell. Same thing. Even and Jim Ross, if he's not hyping 42 things at the same time. And
Yep.
Michael Cole would probably be pretty good too. But see, the WWE, they hype so many things in that break. Sometimes the match is the last thing they're commentating on. So, but I remember one time I was in Mid-South, and we used to, and I don't know if people are familiar with Mid-South. If you wrestled back in those days, you would be, because it was brutal, a brutal territory, mileage-wise. I don't know how Jake the Snake and DiBiase and Dr. Death and, Hacksaw Duggan and even Butch, I don't know how they took it. But I went there one time, and my God, we did more miles than truck drivers. So we would go up on a Sunday, and back in the summer, this is how many shows we worked. We worked a show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, double header on Saturday, double header on Sunday. That's 9 times a week, and probably tacked on to about anywhere between 2,500 miles on you
Wow.
drove by car.
Wow.
That's a hell of a damn work schedule, to tell you the truth. And we didn't have doctors. We didn't have trainers. And if you didn't go to the show or work, you didn't get paid. That's why people ask me, well, what's the difference between the guys in my era and guys today? is because we had to work hurt. That's why we learn timing. That's why we learn story. Till we finally learned that actually works better than working your ass off and taking these big, gigantic bumps every night. Because if you're hurt, you're hurt, and if you come out of the ring, there's nobody there that's going to coddle you. Nobody going to take you to the hospital or to the doctor. And they wonder why pain pills were so prevalent. Well, they were. I mean, I didn't take them, but a lot of guys did. I didn't even learn about pain pills to the 90s. And I could have slapped myself. I said, why didn't I find out about these things before? But I do remember we used to take care of things internally. I mean, if you got into a fight with the guy backstage, they wouldn't fire you. They wouldn't even fine you. Bill Watts, he said, all right, guys, come over here. We're going to talk this out. And I remember he took Butch Reed, and you remember John Nord?
Oh, yeah. The Berserker.
The Berserker. He took him into a little room there at the Tulsa Convention Center. And he says, all right, guys, they'd had a problem in the ring. One didn't want to sell the other one or something. And he says, now this is the time to get it out. And whatever happens here stays in this room. And the next time you get in the ring, we're going to forget it, right? And they said, okay. And they started throwing down on each other. And it lasted, I don't know, a minute, 90 seconds. And nobody had the upper hand. A couple of them landed a couple of good big haymakers. I think John landed a couple. I think he staggered Butch a little bit. Then Butch, with that heavy hand, he threw a few back. And then it was over. It's like, hey, get it out of your system. And they shook hands and they left. Didn't have any more trouble. Which I thought was actually the best way to handle it, to tell you the truth. So, but anyway, very sad about his death, and condolences to the family and all his fans and all his friends. So, did you know him?
I actually worked with him quite a few times to do autograph signings and stuff. And man, he was just like low key, but such a hilarious guy. Like he would say funny stuff. Like we were working with one time working with him alone. We had breakfast with him, JR, and Missy Hyatt. And like when Misty Hyatt kind of went away, he would kind of like make us like a funny comment. She'd come back, like, "What are you saying, Butch?" And he's just like very kind of like under the radar, sarcastic. But when we worked with Doom, which was Simmons and Teddy Long, Teddy was like arguing with the promoter or something, and like people want to take pictures. Butch is like, "Come on, Teddy, get your ass over here." He goes, "Get in this damn picture." And Simmons is looking. He's like, you could tell, like, don't piss him off. Like, come on, Teddy. But Butch was just so funny about it. He's like, he goes, "Get your ass over here, Teddy." He's like, very, very funny guy. But low key.
I can hear Ron saying now, "Daddy." The last time I saw Butch, I guess it was about 3 years ago, and it was at some convention.
Oh, probably Philly, maybe.
I think it was. It was up there, and we went into a little cafe. It was right there inside the building. And I was talking to him, and I could tell he wasn't feeling good because he had lost a lot of weight. And he never had a like a big bow voice anyway, but it was a little more withdrawn, still friendly. And I will remember this when we left. He shook my hand, and he never told me this before. He said, "I love you, brother." And I'm not used to guys telling me they love me.
Right.
And I told him I loved you too. But it was odd that he told me that. It's almost like he knew something was going on, and he wanted me to know, because I always respected him. Good guy, and I'm going to miss him. There's some guys that pass away that it doesn't bother you too much. I think Butch bothered me a little bit, and why, I don't know. The one that bothered me the most though was Savage. When Randy Savage passed away, that bothered me a lot. because I kind of broke in with him.
Yep.
And that Savage is a crazy bastard anyway. But
Yes, but in a good way, but in an awesome way.
oh yeah, and he could be a smart ass too. Oh my God. Anyway, here's the story I want to bring up. Hey folks, this is just sit in the back seat and listen to this. Where are we going today, Dr. John?
Let's go to your favorite of all time, Nashville, Tennessee.
I got a better one. Why don't we
Oh.
go to New Orleans?
Ooh, okay.
It's about a 3-hour trip from where we were.
Nice.
If you make it summertime, it's about 105 degrees out there. I'm thinking, my God.
Jeez.
Okay, I don't know this guy. I don't know if you've ever met him either, but he wrestled under the name of Tyler Reks. So you read his story, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And I didn't even know this. And I was talking to folks, if you're tuning in a little, you can't tune in too late, you missed everything. But I was talking to John before we went on the podcast proper. And John was telling me that he was reading the story a long time before it happened because Tyler Reks just had sex reassignment surgery, correct? How long ago? How long ago?
I guess he came out a couple weeks ago. I guess it was that he actually came out that he had it.
Now he's 6'5", 6'4".
He's a big guy. Yeah. Yep.
And he weighed 260. And all of a sudden he starts feeling like a woman, identifying as a woman, and wanting to have sexual reassignment, I guess. And I read it, and I didn't know what to think. I mean, it's not me. I mean, I don't care whether he had it or not. If he's more happy what he did, more power to him. But I don't know. And I'm just thinking, what happened to this business we used to have? I mean, it's just nothing surprises me anymore. After 2020, I mean, nothing surprises me at all. And I saw I think he did an interview. Was it on YouTube?
Yeah, and he did one with Extra, too. I think with Billy Bush, I think he did one, too.
It was Billy Bush. And I'm watching it, and I'm not disagreeing with him. I think you either have to be one or two things, kind of not mentally unbalanced, but at least a bit mentally off, I think, whatever that means. Or you got to be tremendously depressed and dedicated to what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about me going in there and getting Junior kind of whacked on. Do you?
Heck, I couldn't do it, no.
I said, whoa, be careful there. I don't know. But it's a strange story, and it was news. And if he's happy, I'm happy for him because it don't bother me. But what was the first woman years and years and years ago? It was back in the 50s. This woman had this surgery. You remember her name?
No. Mm-mm.
It was big news. I'll find it now. I'll text it to you tonight.
Okay.
It was a huge story. But anyway, Tyler Reks, if you're listening, more power to you. I hope you're happy. His wife is still with him. He has a daughter. So if things are good with you, they're good with me.
Beautiful wife, too. Beautiful girl.
I did see her. She is a pretty lady. She is. All right. Let's talk a little wrestling. Royal Rumble. You see it?
Yes, sir. Never miss it.
You like it?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, if you watch the shows before that, they were all pretty bad. So this was almost like a breath of fresh air. It was better than normal for them.
Mm-hmm. So Edge won the Royal Rumble, correct?
Yep.
Let me test the temperature on that. What do you think of that?
I thought he would win just because they seem like they push the older guys over all the younger guys. So I kind of assumed that he was going to win, especially when they put him at number one. It's okay, he's going to go the whole thing. He's going to win it. I just felt like
So he
they
went in
don't
at
push.
he went in at number one.
Yep, went 58 minutes and won the whole thing. Yep.
See, that's another thing that they're predictable in doing that. They put him in there, or the winner, early, really early. So I guess it makes the win seem better, I guess. I don't know. But I have mixed thoughts on it. Now, if I was a young guy in WWE and I'm working my ass off, I'm trying to grab that, what's Vince called, the brass ring?
Brass ring. Yep.
I'm trying to grab that brass fucking ring. But they keep moving that motherfucker. They keep raising it higher and higher and higher.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in comes a guy. And of course, an old timer gave me this suggestion a long time ago. He said, if you don't like the way things are going, you got two options: quit or buy the company. Since I couldn't afford to do either one, I
Right.
had to stay and put up with it. But to me, you can't get a talent over unless you push that talent to get over. And bringing in a guy who, by and large, his biggest run was 10 years ago. You know, he did the thing with, who did you do the other match with in WrestleMania last year? Who was that? The
Randy
guy
Orton.
yeah, he did that. But to bring a guy from 10 years ago, bring him in and put him over all your younger guys, I don't know. It seems like that doesn't take a lot of thought. And I don't know what else they can do with him. He's 47.
Right.
You know, WWE, they wouldn't even used to look at you unless you were under 30. Wouldn't even look at you. Oh, they'd bring your name up. No, he's too old. He's too old. He's too old. He's too old. So. But
And all the guys are older. All their main stars are all older.
Well, that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I mean?
saying. But
Yeah.
but if they want to stay, the ratings are down anyway. You got to give them something that's going to excite them, not more of the same and more of the same same from 10 years ago. See, there's kids today don't even know who the F Edge is. Really, they don't know his history. And it's like a guy told me one time. See, I remember all these little sayings I used to hear. I've been hit on the head so many times I can't remember who told me.
Yep.
But it's like you don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. So, and that was apparently this is Vince's job in WWE to like aim the ship in the right direction. But I don't know if that's a good move on their part or not. I don't know. I mean, but they what are their ratings doing now?
Raw last I checked was doing a 1.7 to 1.8 million, and SmackDown does 2 million.
Yeah. But they expected more, right?
Oh, way more, yeah. SmackDown was expecting 3 million, and I think they thought Raw was going to hover around like 2.5 million. And both are way off.
Well, okay. Let me take you back just a second here. Me and Butch Reed, I put up a video of it.
Mm-hmm.
I may put the one up, and the one I put up was in Houston, but it was just an old school match. But the people responded so well to it. I mean, you saw people sitting at ringside, and they were into the match. It was everything we did. And hell, I wasn't a big star. Butch was a much bigger star than I was. But they were right with, and we didn't do any of that crazy, you know, taking a bump every 15 seconds and doing the damn big crazy dives. We did old school wrestling, told a story. And remember, when I learned to tell the stories, when I got hurt. That's when most of the guys learned how to tell the story. It's when you got hurt. But I think they've seen so much of this flippity flop back and forth that it doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, if you're watching Raw, which I can't do, I can't watch any show really. I don't even watch it unless they got a good story and you got maybe some good talkers, and then I may be able to get through it. But other than that, I can't do it. But I don't know if Edge is a good move or not. That's their business. Let me ask you about this now. Who are the two rappers that are undergoing training in WWE right now?
So it looks like Bad Bunny, who's kind of been on the Royal Rumble. He's been on Raw a few times, and Bow Wow looks like he's going to be the next guy to enter into the fray. Seems like these guys are big-time wrestling fans, and they do have a big following. I'm not very familiar with them, but I know they have a big following.
Yeah. Well, you saw the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Did you see the halftime show?
I did see some of it, but I'm not familiar with The Weeknd or like his songs or anything like that.
Well, let me help you out, John. Weekends usually like Saturdays. That's what it usually is. I don't know.
Not to this guy, yeah.
Yeah. But The Weeknd, and I'm reading on how these halftime shows are handled. Pepsi traditionally owns the halftime show, right? They promote it, correct?
Yep.
But they usually pay the talents. They don't pay them a lot, but they do all the setup for them.
Yep.
You know, like who flew in on the wings that time? What was her name?
Oh.
Katie something.
Katy Perry? Yeah.
Yeah, Katy Perry. And a lot of their shows have been just fucking tremendous. They were great. So when they had The Weeknd and he came out, I didn't know who he was. I'm probably out of that age bracket. I'm sure I am. I looked him up. Google, of course. Except I'm learning Duck, Go, Duck. What is that?
Oh, Duck, Duck, Go, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, Duck, Duck, Go, because they don't block me. But Google, they've changed their little way they handle things too. I'm a little pissed at them anyway.
Yeah, they're getting too political. Yeah.
Okay, usually Pepsi pays for the setup, the ramps, anything special effects. They pay all this, but they didn't do it this year because Weeknd, he approached Pepsi, or his people did, and they offered this deal that if you let him have the halftime show, he'll pay all the setup. You don't have to pay him. I mean, they don't pay much anyway to any of them because they think the publicity should help them, and it does. Yep. So he paid $7 million.
Crazy.
Did you know this?
No, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
He paid $7 million for setup, plus, I guess, the travel expenses for all those people coming in. And he paid all that just to get the halftime show. Now, I guarantee you today, there's probably 30 or 40 million people who know who Weeknd is now,
right?
That didn't before. So, but it was a kind of strange setup. But I think WWE is drawing a similar page from that book with these two rappers,
yes.
Bow Wow and
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. I don't think they're paying them. I think they're in Orlando now, I think. And they're learning whatever they're learning. But I think it's going to be hopefully a mutual, conducive atmosphere for WWE and the rappers. Plus the rappers are big fans anyway.
Right.
I mean, they'd probably do it for free, but I think it'll put WWE and more eyeballs on the product than what they've had before. All they're wanting to do now is get the ratings up. Now there's another side story to this, is what I'm hearing, is that a lot of the WWE talent now are not very happy with the two rappers coming in.
Oh.
Because they're thinking, they're going to put a lot of effort into these guys, which is going to take away from their effort on the regular roster, which is true. It is. and they know the rapper's only going to be a short time project anyway. So there is some grumbling. You like that word, grumbling?
Mm-hmm.
There is. I call it bitching. There is some grumbling amongst themselves, but they're not letting, of course, the office hear about it because they want to be, Vince likes everybody to be on the same team and pull in the same direction. But they think it's going to take emphasis off them to put it on the rappers, and which is, they have a valid point. But I think it may work for both sides. It may. Because if they pull all those rapper fans in just for the TV, just to see what they do on TV, that's going to up the ratings somewhat. But do you think it would up? You think they could uptick it to 0.3 of a point? If they do it at 1.7, you think they can do it too, with just the rapper fans, or no?
I feel like probably not, just because it seems like they have such a big audience, and Bad Bunny hasn't helped the rating at all. So I don't know. I feel like nothing can help them now, which is kind of sad. But you got to try it, I guess.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm gonna use you as an example. Are you a rap fan?
No, never have been.
So the fans they're looking at are like between 14 and 21.
Younger audience for sure. Yep.
But I think you may get eyeballs temporarily on it, but I don't think they're staying on it.
Right.
I don't know. Hey, it's not my money. It's their money. They can run their business the way they want to run it. I had another thing here I was going to ask you about. Okay. Have you watched any AEW?
Yes, every week.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to be very honest. I only watch it if I can find clips on YouTube. I'm not going to sit down in a chair and watch the show. I just can't do it. I can't watch Raw.
Terrible.
I can't watch SmackDown. And I can't watch AEW. See, I don't think AEW has any breakout stars, to tell you the truth. Cody has broke out as much as he's going to break out, I think. And I think you got a couple over there that has possibility. I think Jericho, because he books himself.
Yep.
He books himself. And he does a pretty good job, I think. And MJF, I think, but Jericho books him too, correct?
Seems like right now he is, yeah, because they're embroiled in like a, not a feud, but they're like teaming together, but they're kind of teasing the tension. So it seems like Jericho's probably booking that whole thing.
Well, so this is what I watched. I watched the wedding with Penelope, what's her name, Ford?
Yes, Penelope Ford. Yep.
And what's that guy she's married?
Kip Sabian.
And where's he from? He's from the UK.
I think he's from England. Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Not too familiar with him.
How many weddings have you ever seen, Dr. John, on TV wrestling?
On wrestling, too many. It's always it's always corny and stupid and cliche and whatever.
It's predictable.
So predictable. Although her outfit was unbelievable, so that kind of got me interested a little bit. Just the way she came out wearing basically nothing, but besides that, it was so predictable and corny and stupid and just weird. James Mitchell was there, but they didn't really say it was James Mitchell. Very weird stuff.
It was weird, and I'm not going to say it was badly done. It was just so predictable. You knew something was going to. You knew that the groom was going to get the crap beat out of him.
Yep.
And then they had Rusev there, who is, I think he had a little steam on him when he came across, but now he has nothing at all. He's like, nobody takes him serious anymore. See, when Swagger was working with him in WWE, that summit was over.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Lana was over. I think
Huge.
She was over more than he was.
Yep, 100%.
So, but now he's just. I mean, when you take the seriousness out of it, or potential to be serious if you align them with silly, like little gimmick scenarios and like that. People don't take you serious anymore. I think there's some money to be drawn with Rusev. And this is another thing about AEW. Why don't they run Swagger with Rusev? Seemed like
I
a
don't know.
natural, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Let me add, well, what is Rusev? He's a professional gamer.
Yeah, he's on Twitch and all of those stuff playing video games. Yeah.
So they make any money on that, or they do, or they don't?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
I've
People
never seen that.
pay people pay to have subscriptions to like these channels and they watch him play video games. It's the weirdest thing, but it's what these kids do nowadays and these younger folks do.
Which is what we talked about a couple of weeks ago when the Taker was talking about the difference in a wrestling dressing room today and one 20-something years ago, or maybe
Yes.
30.
Yep.
And he was right. So when you walked in, and I covered this the last time I was on here. This is one of my rare appearances on my own show. So, but you used to walk in and there was some tough guys sitting there. Nobody was raising their voices. Nobody was showing. They was playing cards and, you know. You remember a guy named Crazy Luke Graham?
Oh yeah.
Well, Crazy Luke would sit there and he'd have a bottle of Jack. Always. And he would pick the bottle up and he'd blow into it. But it would, it'd make a sound. Then he'd take a sip, he'd put it down, put the top back on it. And he'd do that all night because he never got drunk. So, but that was the difference. Now, I think when Taker said that, I think he made some guys hot.
Yes. Good.
Who was we talking about the last time we was on here? Colt Cabana? Oh, we talked about comedy and wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
What was that saying? Funny is not money.
Yeah. Funny doesn't equal money. Yeah.
And he said it does.
Yep. I
Can
don't know
you
about
ever
that.
remember a time when funny equaled money?
Nope. Maybe on a small scale to him,
No,
him selling
it may
T-shirts or
do
something.
it.
But
It may do it 1 week,
yeah.
but for a long run, it'll never do it. And I don't know why Colt to me, I think he kind of embarrassed himself with that comment, with that statement. I was arguing one time, not arguing, but I was debating one time with Disco Inferno. And he says a writer is the same thing as a booker. I says, well, I don't agree with that. He said, oh yeah. I said, no, it's tons of difference. Tons of difference. Would you say a writer is a booker?
No, I had never thought of them in the same category. I always thought there was two separate things.
It is. Because the writer is, he's writing a skit. He's writing a interview. But a booker has to look at the long term of this whole angle, and he has to pace it.
And who's gonna go over, when they go over, why they go over. Yeah. Yep.
But and I think I told you this. Is sometimes, remember I told you about who could be a booker. It says, and it's not the first thing you do. The most important thing you do is the second thing you do, which is the follow up to the first thing.
Yep.
If it doesn't follow up strong, and it should be almost as strong or stronger than the first one, now you got an angle. But a lot of people, I don't know, I may be talking in the wind, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Yep.
If you're writing a book and you're telling the story and you got 300 pages to fill, you can't write the story, this happened, and then the second chapter blow it off. How you going to finish the book? How you going to finish the book?
Build it up a little bit. Yep.
Well, you can finish it, but it's going to be shits. Nobody can read the damn thing. So I was talking. This is another thing I was watching with AEW. Nyla Rose is transgender.
Yep.
And Sonny, what is it?
Sonny Kiss.
Sonny Kiss. What is he?
A man, a gay man, I guess you would say, yes.
But he's not transgender. He's just gay.
No, nope, yep.
But they don't really do anything with that. You know why?
No, no
They're afraid
idea.
of it. They're afraid of it. They got it, but yet they're afraid to do something with it. Because with this woke generation, if they do the least little thing that doesn't glorify what these characters are, I think they freak out. And as soon as they start getting that woke emails at TNT or wherever they're going to get it, I think they freak out. I don't know. What do
Afraid
you
to
think
get
of it?
canceled. Afraid to get canceled.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be weary.
It's the cancel culture, which
Yep.
I really, really hate. Cancel culture is almost like saying you cannot have a different opinion than what we have. Because if you do, we're coming after you. But we're not coming after you as a person. We're coming after your job. We're coming after your business. We're coming after this. They're going to try to take everything from you. They're going to shut you up. Now, didn't the Nazis start that way in 1936?
Oh, yeah.
But yet they call everybody else Nazis and are calling other people Nazis, which is what they really are.
Acting just like them. Yep.
I mean, I don't know what's wrong with my nose. I must have been all that cocaine I did before I came over. But I need to stop that shit. But I don't know. There's a lot in this environment right now that is it's actually kind of not upsetting, but it's kind of scaring me, to tell you the truth.
I
Have you
agree.
watched any of the impeachment?
No, not a second. What about you?
What do you-
Have you been watching it?
I watched it the first day, but they're saying the same thing. It's that, well, first of all, this is my main problem with it. The head judge is not the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts. He's not presiding over it. So what you got presiding over it is a Democratic senator, the head, one of the oldest ones there. I can't remember his name now. But he's not only, he's a presiding judge, but yet he's on the jury. He's a juror. How does that work?
Yeah, that's not right.
Yeah. And the whole thing is you are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Proven guilty of what? What is the charge? It's high crimes and misdemeanors, right? But what is a high crime and misdemeanor? It's up to anybody's opinion. I don't think they're going to convict him because I don't think you're going to get 17 Republican senators to vote for impeachment. I think you may get 3 more. But they're not voting on whether he's guilty or not. They're voting on their livelihood. They're afraid that if they vote the wrong way, they'll get canceled. And that's a hell of a government to run. So anyway, you got any questions to ask me, Dr. John?
Were you upset at all at the outcome? Oh,
Go ahead.
Were you upset at all at the outcome of the Super Bowl? I was curious about that.
Not really.
You were happy that Brady won?
I am happy Brady won because they got a better team. Because the team won. Brady picked that team apart. He picked them apart. You know that when he was telling the sidelines what plays to run, he was running that team.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what happened to Kansas City's offense, their line, because I read this, that Mahomes ran 497 yards
Yeah.
to get away from the Tampa Bay defense.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that stuff he did put up, he's lucky he didn't get intercepted 2 other times.
Oh, I know. At least, yeah.
He just hung the ball up there just to get rid of it. You know, he did have one pass in the end zone that was off by this much.
Hmm.
It was a hell of a. He's got a hell of an arm, but he kind of reminds me of a little bit like Mantel. He's a runner, pretty good thrower, great thrower. So, but it didn't surprise me because it was time for Fournette. He's a running back for Tampa Bay. I watched him at LSU.
Yep.
It was time for him to break out, and he did. And time for Brady and Gronk, and even what's the guy's name? 82, the AJ. What's his name?
Oh, Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown. He caught touch. He actually went the wrong way and went back the opposite way and caught the touchdown. And what surprised? This is a thing I didn't like though. That number 12 for not that number. What was his number? The defensive back.
32, Matthew from LSU as well. Yep.
See, what he did was when they asked him about what was that about, he said, well, he called me something that I'm not going to repeat. So what's the first thing went through your head?
You said something racist. Yeah.
Right. I says, and I don't know why he did that. Even his own teammates come back and said, bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Some of his own black teammates, they said he didn't do that. Brady's not like that.
Right.
And why would Brady do that anyway?
Well, because he said something to him first. So Brady literally said, I'm coming after you now. And if you noticed, he went towards Antonio Brown on the touchdown because Matthew was guarding him. So he knew. He's like, I'm going right after you now, boy. So, yeah, he was pissed. Matthew said something to him at first. God knows why. Stupid. And then Brady obviously went back at him.
He picked him apart.
Yeah.
It was a good day to be a Tampa Bay fan because I live around Tampa now, so I kind of pull for that team. I used to go when I was down here wrestling before years and years and years ago. Tampa Bay had just gotten their franchise. I don't want to date myself. It was 1977, 1976, I think. They were so bad.
Oh, yeah.
That even their own fans booed them. I mean, they would come off the field. Yeah, the fans would stand up and they would throw things at their own players. Now, I went to where I used to live. I had an apartment. Where I used to live was about a mile from Raymond James Stadium. That was the old stadium. So you could just walk up Sunday morning, get a ticket, no problem. So I would buy a ticket, $5 ticket, pretty decent. It's on 10-yard line, but it's okay. I went to see 5 games. Guess how many times I saw them score?
I would hope a bunch. I would hope. Oh, damn, that bad.
They didn't even kick a field goal.
Wow.
In 5 games.
Awful.
They were playing the New York Giants. And I remember they had a guy playing for the Giants. I can't remember his name, but he wrestled in the offseason. I wrestled him. Can't remember his name now. But they got down to New York Giants 1-yard line. They ended up 3 plays later back on their own 46.
Jesus. Awful.
It was awful. I felt sorry for them, really. So, but you're sitting out at like 1 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon and it's like September, still hot as hell, and you're drinking. Hell, I staggered out of that stadium more times than I got whoever I was with. I think I was with Tank Madden. And he would drive, and I'd collapse in the back of his van. We'd go to Orlando. I'd wake up in Orlando parking lot, ready to go to work.
Nice.
Then I'd work that night and take off.
Nice.
So, well, you got any good announcements you need to make, Dr. John, before we sign off today?
Just got to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. But that's pretty much it. Just trying to build the brand of the 2Man Power Trip. I like to say to serve and protect the business. I feel like say it like that.
Hey, I like that.
You got to protect the business.
What about we the fans?
Ooh.
How's that? We the fans. I like that anyway. But hey, you can follow me on Facebook if you want to. Dirty Dutchman 1. You know, I'm not like what do you call on Twitter when you have the star or whatever you have?
Verified.
I'm not even
Verified. The check.
I just never did it. I never even did it on Facebook. I
It's
don't. Well,
weird who's verified and who's not. Like they put all these journalists that are verified, and Dave Meltzer's not verified. I was like, that's kind of weird. Like the guy who started all the wrestling journalism isn't verified, but all these other people that are under him have the check that aren't as pop or aren't as famous or covering the business as long. I don't know, weird things I've noticed from Twitter. Very strange.
oh well, Twitter this is another thing we didn't get into today. We talk a little more politics today than we usually talk. But Twitter has the ability to just cancel you out.
Yep.
If you were doing business on Twitter and they didn't like what you said, they could just take you out.
Sad but true.
Period.
Yep.
Period. Facebook, same thing. And Instagram. Who owns Instagram? Facebook?
I think Facebook does own it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure because they're connected.
You know, they took Trump off. You know, if they can take Trump off,
Yeah, if you could take the president off, you
if
could
you
take
can take
anybody
him
off.
off, you can
Yeah.
take anybody off. I don't get it. I mean, this is scary times we're living in, believe me. So anyway, you can find me on Facebook, Dirty Dutchman One, and me, folks. If you're listening to this, which I don't know what else you'd be doing, we have thought about trying to adjust our reach, and we talk about doing this live on Facebook, and then you can write questions, and we can answer them. And I like that format, I really do, because they tell you what they want to talk about, and you can talk about it a little bit. And what else did we talk about? Fans only, which is something I didn't. You said it's mostly pornography.
It seems like it, from what I've
Well, if I
seen and
did
heard of it, it seems
pornography,
like mostly
that'd
porn.
be a big loser for me. I'll tell you right
Yeah.
now. So, and what is the other thing? Patreon. Did we try
Yes.
Patreon one time, John, or no?
Yes, but now I'm trying to rebrand it and put everybody together because people want more and more content. So I'm trying to put all my different guys together and create a big 2-man power trip empire Patreon. You'll be on
Oh,
there, and Dr. Tom
oh,
and
so you're
Sullivan. I'm
trying.
trying to get
So
everybody together.
you're trying to take it over.
Oh, I'm taking
You
it over.
you
Oh, yeah.
want to be the Vince of the podcast, right?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
But who is big into podcasts? I mean, who kind of controls it more than anybody else? Would you say that what's his name?
Conrad? Connie?
Conrad?
Oh, he's got a bunch of big ones. Oh, yeah. Yep. He's doing very well.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I was going to say something else. I always have something else to say, and I always kind of it skips me right at the end. Any good feuds going on, John?
The Fiend and Randy Orton seems to be a never-ending one. Not really good, but it just seems never-ending. Nothing really great.
But that's a work, right?
It's
That's
a little
not a
weird.
real. That's not.
No, it's
Nobody's
not a
really
real
mad.
feud.
Nobody's really mad at anybody, right?
Nope. Nothing
Well,
really. Nothing really is good as far as the wrestling world is. Just I don't know. It's kind of dead as far as those blood feuds and getting interested and getting emotionally invested. I think those days are over, unfortunately.
you think so?
Sad but true.
Well, that is sad. But anyway, folks, listen. If you can help somebody out, especially during this pandemic, and I always talk about my brothers, the veterans. You see them, and this is where I get pissed off at my government. You have these veterans that go in and serve, and when they get out, they don't take care of them. I mean, and there's no need for them to be out on the street needing medical attention or mental attention, and the government is not taking care of them, and they're out begging for $1 or $2. But if you do see them, they're not begging, they're not asking for their health. They're asking because they need something. So if you can help them, if you could do that, I'd highly appreciate that. So until next week, am I back here next week, John?
Oh, you'll be back. You'll be back.
Did you book me?
I hope so. You'll be back.
Hey, folks, don't ever depend on John to book you because I called him one day this week and he said, "Who is this?" I said, "It's Dutch." "Dutch who?" He said, "Oh yeah. I kind of vaguely remember you." So, but anyway, so help them out if you can, and I want every real American. Oh, this is one more thing I was going to tell you. Did you read? Hey, this has been a pretty good trip, John.
I love it.
You know,
I love it.
did you read where they told Mark Cuban? See, he canceled the singing of the national anthem, or
Yeah.
the
Weird.
playing of the national anthem for the Dallas Mavericks, and the league overruled him and said no, he had to play it.
Good. Seems a little anti-American not to play it. I don't know what his end game was.
Well,
with
I
that.
don't. This is my belief on it because I think the national anthem has become a political act,
Oh, if that's the reason, then I'm okay with it. Like he
and I
wants to
think
get the
that he
politics
wanted
out
to
of it.
stop it
Okay.
because he wouldn't allow his team or his arena to be used as a political statement.
Okay, that makes sense then.
But they
Then I'm
come
kind of with them.
back and said, "Oh, you got to do it."
Hmm.
You know, one thing that makes me hot. LeBron James, he wants to have it his way. And remember, he's got that big contract with Nike, the league does, in Nike, where they make all their basketball apparel.
Yep.
But he sided with the protesters in Hong Kong. Remember that?
Yep.
And the NBA told him the next day. I mean, the Chinese government called the NBA the next day, and they said if he does that one more time, we're going to cancel all the contracts in China. Guess what you heard LeBron say then? Zero.
Yep.
Because I guess he's in favor, and I don't know if this is true or not. Do they have 1 million people in the concentration camps or the re-education camps, they call them?
I don't even know, but I've heard that they
Supposed
have
to be
them
1
out there.
million Muslims in the concentration or the camps. They call them re-education camps, which can't be good to be in a camp like that.
No.
But they're keeping them hostage, and I don't know if that will work or not, but he sided with them at first, and then they told him shut his mouth. He shut up. So what means more to LeBron James?
The green.
Equality,
Money.
or green? Absolutely. So if he's going to change his mind like that, I have no use for that man.
Yep.
You know, if you can't live your morals or live your ethics, and because then what are you? A wrestling promoter? A wrestling promoter?
Sounds like a promoter, yeah.
Oh yeah. Anyway, listen, I want every real American to please rise, which I'm not going to do it right now. Please rise, put your hand over your heart, and in a loud, clear voice, say along with me, we the people. See you next week.